Keanu Reeves has been acting for close to 40 years, and while he had a couple of dips along the way, his career has remained remarkably stable and consistent. His first role was in the 1984 sitcom Hangin' In, and he worked hard and fast. In 1989, he starred alongside Alex Winter in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which quadrupled its budget at the box office. In 1991's My Own Private Idaho, where he starred alongside River Phoenix, and Point Break alongside Patrick Swayze, both helped cement Keanu as a bona fide star. His first big commercial success would come with 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, which made $216 million on a budget of $40 million. He was able to top this with an even bigger success just 2 years later, Speed, where he starred alongside Sandra Bullock on a bus that could not drop below 50 miles per hour, lest it blow up. In 1995, he starred in Johnny Mnemonic, a cyberpunk film with a screenplay written by William Gibson. His next film, A Walk in the Clouds, was a commercial success, though Reeves cut back on acting for a bit. He opted to do some stage roles, such as playing Hamlet in Hamlet and touring with his band, Dogstar. He was back on top with Devil's Advocate. In one of the stories that everyone has probably heard of, Reeves decided to take a multi-million-dollar pay cut so the studio could afford to hire Al Pacino. His next film would come 2 years later, in 1999's The Matrix, the first in a series of 4 films. The Matrix was met with box office success, critical acclaim, and a legacy that still holds up. It's still considered one of the best science fiction movies ever made and is, at this point, implicitly linked with anything tech-related. Chad Stahelski, who directed Reeves in the John Wick films, was a stunt double for him on The Matrix, and has acknowledged the film's influence on the John Wick series. 1999 was also a year of tragedy for Reeves and his girlfriend, Jennifer Syme, who gave birth to a daughter, Ava, who was stillborn. The couple broke up and reunited a couple of years later before her life was tragically cut short in a car accident. She was 28. Reeves' next film was The Replacements with Gene Hackman, where again he took a pay cut to allow the producers to bring on Hackman. And until 2003, he balanced working on the Matrix sequels, The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, with working on smaller films. The sequels were commercial successes, though Revolutions didn't fare as well as its predecessors. It would be almost 20 years before he reprised his role as Neo in The Matrix Resurrections, which did better critically but was a box office flop. The Matrix trilogy made Reeves a very rich man, with some estimates putting his payout in the low 9 figures, around $150 to $200 million. He's been notable for being extremely generous with his money, to giving money to charity, buying Harleys for his stuntmen, giving away Rolexes, and more. And from then on, Reeves kept going. Some years he wouldn't have a release, while other years would be packed with movies, as much as 5 in 2016 and 2019 each. Some choice picks between 2005 and 2013 include 2005's Constantine, 2006's A Scanner Darkly, an interestingly shot film from Richard Linklater that also co-stars Robert Downey Jr., 2008's The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is a remake of the 1951 film of the same name, and, a personal favorite, 2012's Side by Side, a documentary narrated by Reeves that explores the history and process of traditional and digital filmmaking. I think it's required viewing for anyone with an interest in movies. 2013 saw the release of 47 Ronin, a film that I thought was fun but critics disagreed with me on. But then in 2014 it all changed, with the release of everyone's favorite revenge flick, John Wick. The film was immediately regarded as one of the best action films ever made, and one of Reeves' best films bar none. Each fight scene was extensively choreographed, which makes sense as the co-directors Chad Stahelski and David Leitch were stunt coordinators and stuntmen who excelled at this stuff. The film was the definition of a sleeper hit, something that didn't have any great expectations, but turned into an outstanding series that's lasted a decade so far. Other films since John Wick include narrating Mifune, The Last Samurai, John Wick 2, which was a huge critical and commercial success, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, which continued the success of its predecessors, a voiceover role in the billion-dollar Toy Story 4, a fun reprisal in Bill and Ted Face the Music, and most recently, the critically and commercially successful John Wick 4, which for now seems to be the end of the series. In 2020, Reeves also provided the voice and motion capture for Johnny Silverhand, in CDPR's Cyberpunk 2077, and most recently an entry into publishing with comics like Berserker, which is getting an anime and Netflix adaptation, and Ode to Happiness, a picture book with art by visual artist Alexandra Grant and writing by Reeves. Keanu Reeves has always seemed to avoid the spotlight, but has had it shown on him regardless. A 40-year career is healthy by any standards. I think it's interesting that he's branched out more and more as he's gotten older instead of less. I think there's still a lot that he has left to offer in the future.